it's Kevin. I'm here at Supply Chain Point 2025, and joining me here is Rodney Galeano, the CEO, founder of Loki 3PL. Last time we talked to Rodney, we were in a brand new warehouse. You may remember that. But now he's got a brand new 3PL, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. How you been?
I've been good. Has it been that long? Was that first video the last time that I was on the podcast?
I think so. Yeah.
Because you and I talk a ton.
We talk a lot, yeah, but it's not always recorded, you know.
And it's never recorded. Because that video's a long time ago, man. That's like 2 years ago.
About 2 years,
No,
yeah.
3 years.
A little
It's
more
been-
than 2
it's
years,
been 3 years.
Yeah.
Wow, and that 3 years feels like 10.
Yeah.
Holy gosh. I guess we got to get on camera more over here.
Yeah. Well, 3 years feeling like 10. That's kind of how it goes in this world, right?
We hang out so much that you don't realize that. Yeah, I could have thought we did like 10 videos by now.
Yeah. But tell us a little bit about what you've been up to. What's Loki 3PL? Tell us about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Loki is a 3PL that I started earlier this year. So, the company is getting close to the half-year mark. So it's definitely
nice.
a new, brand new company. When you think about like a startup 3PL, that's like 5 or 6 months old. You probably think about like a lot of the the startup things that occur in a 3PL. But thankfully, when the reason why I started Loki was because I had the clientele, and I had the clientele that needed the warehouse space.
Yeah.
So it gave me the opportunity to get a location where I already had clients that were incoming into it. And that's like glorious in the 3PL space, right?
Yeah.
I think I always wanted to, be a founder of a company and, be a CEO and have something that I can grow. But the 3PL game, is tough without clients. It's
You need clients. Yeah.
Well, I think there's so many different services or products that you can have out there where you don't have the clientele, but then you start selling and then you don't have too many fixed costs to get the 3PL started.
Yeah.
But, you need a warehouse, right? And even if you just have it for a month, empty, that first month's rent is expensive. And then, you want something to sell. So you're like, well, do you have a team? Do you have a system? Do you have, how many dock doors do you have? You get all these questions about what kind of warehouse provider you are.
Yeah. Because they're kind of like taking a shot on you almost, right?
Of course, it's a big investment. It's a big decision for that brand, and it's more about like they're investing in the 3PL, but also they're investing in that person. Who's running it? Who am I going to be able to call when I need something? Are they going to answer? Can I trust them?
Yeah.
There's so much. That it goes a little deeper than just like what the 3PL looks from afar. At least, if the brand's doing their due diligence, and then you go into such a deep dive of the RFP process, and you go into the, understanding the financials. But I think, the financials are one thing. The next thing is, how does the 3PL do quality control? What kind of culture do they have? And you can go so deep into these questions to vet your 3PL. But I had the clientele that had a couple thousand pallets. So, we're talking close to, 100 truckloads worth of product, and it needed to go somewhere, and it needed to go fast.
Yeah.
I've had these relationships for a little while. I was very open about the idea of me opening up a new place, new company, new people, new culture, new processes. And if they would be willing to come out with me, they gave me the green light. Pretty much just like, don't make me look bad.
Yeah.
And then that was it. I pretty much had 48 hours to make it happen. So the good thing is I already knew what I was doing, right? So it wasn't like me getting into like a new space. I've launched like 25, 30 plus warehouses, throughout my career. Know a lot about just warehousing and freight. I knew that I had this product that was coming. Now I needed to get warehouse space. Thankfully, because of the network, the relationships, I was able to sublease some space pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I was able to get, my first forklift within the first 48 hours. I signed the contract for a WMS. I got Genome scanners. I got pallet jacks. We're talking like infancy of starting up a 3PL, right? Like I've already done this before, but now I'm just like, fresh into doing it again. And it's like, you think about it, you have to register the company somewhere, right? So I registered it to Delaware. You have to think about a name. To create a name is so hard. Every name is taken out there, right? And we could talk about how I came up with the name, but then it's like you got to trademark the name to make sure you protect that name, and then it just goes so much further than that. Obviously sublease the space, make sure you have insurance for the warehouse. Then you're figuring out which WMS provider you want to, have. You're signing these contracts that could be month to month, a year long. You're, going through all this vetting process, but thankfully I had already, known so much about all the technology out there, so I kind of knew who I wanted to play with, pretty quickly. And then I've been in so many negotiations throughout, for software and suppliers and whatnot, so I had a really good idea of what I wanted, how I wanted it, and to be honest, instead of me being curious and questioning stuff out there, I was demanding it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was like, these are the best deals I've seen, and I want this. If, we're going to be able to work together, we got to make this happen. And a lot of it is like, they're putting faith in me, right? But, ultimately, I'm so appreciative of that, but they're playing the long game with me, right? It's like, they see the opportunity of, what I can potentially do here with Loki.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of the beginning phase because I know that I can grow this into something much bigger. And when I am much bigger, they're going to be my go-tos. Because they helped me when I needed it, right? And there's just so many great people in this industry that threw so many bones at me, man. Even like you. I know that if I call you, if I reach out to you, you're always there for me.
I got you. Yeah.
And that just means the world. Like, we're all just, trying to make something great here, right? With you and everything that you have going on. So anything that we can do to help each other, man, that's what it's all about. So you think about everything that I had to do to get everything upstarted with with getting the 3PL to be legit. I mean, you're talking a Google business page, you're talking a domain, creating a website, creating a brochure. What are your services? What are your leadership principles?
Yeah.
What's your credo? Hiring people, getting a payroll system. It's a big list.
Yeah. You've been a little busy, I guess, right?
I've been busy, man. There's like, all these directs, indirects, what's important, what's not, what do you prioritize? I did it all in about 6 weeks. All gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
Fast lane, Gear 5, ripping 100-hour weeks, just nonstop. And I didn't even get tired.
Yeah.
Because I just loved it. I was like, I felt alive doing it. It just felt so good, to think about starting something on your own. I know you've done the same exact thing, and it definitely it feels different. That's for sure. So I was doing all of these startup while I was bringing all of my clients' product in, which I was brokering out myself. So I had to quickly, reach out to my lawyer to get my company registered, have, an LLC established.
Be legit,
and be legit, right? And then immediately it's like, all right, I need a business account. Go to Chase. I need to attach it to my QuickBooks. I need to attach it to my credit card. And, it's like getting everything, because I already knew what the structure looked like, but getting everything started. And it moved all very quickly and parallel to each other. So the clients, I was bringing all the product in, I was getting everything started up. Within 2 months, I already had 15,000 square feet in New Jersey. I had, 3,000 pallets, and I had a legit business running.
Yeah.
We had already gotten our first invoice, net terms 30. We invoiced at the end of February. We got paid at the end of March. And then it's just, full, and then it comes down to, all right, how do I get this to get to break even, get sustainable, so that I don't have to be so hands-on, because at first I'm on forklifts, I'm moving pallets around, I'm hands-on.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do it, and it's a part of it, and it's beautiful, right? But it's crazy, because, I've been a part of a much larger 3PL, overseeing hundreds of employees, overseeing all sales, all ops, and, I hadn't had the necessity to get on a forklift for a few years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that full circle moment, man, where, I'm running, $80 million P&L, and then, now I'm back to the first level of it all, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like unloading trucks, and I'm palletizing, and I'm shrink wrapping, and I'm putting away, but I'm doing it all like graciously and happy, and I'm excited about it all. Now I'm not doing that so much. I just went to Japan for like 2 weeks, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I did something right because, 4 months in, I was able to go to Japan for 2 weeks. So the team, did a great job of doing everything and making it happen. And that's a story, man. It's been a beautiful ride. I can't complain, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so great to hear about that, because it is like such a a great example of, you come from larger organizations, and obviously there's support staff and all these things, and then it's like all of a sudden, like, it's
By
me.
yourself.
Yeah, and then like you figure it all out and all those things. It's great to hear like how you figured it out so quickly and how you've gotten things up and running. So tell us a little bit about the name Loki.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'd gotten so passionate about so many different names.
Yeah.
I had to come up with a name really quickly, and I would think about a name, and I'd go to bed and I'd be like, that's it.
Yeah.
And I start manifesting the name on trucks and warehouses, and I'm getting all excited about this new company name. And then the next day, it was taken. There's like 5-10 companies that already have that name. So I'm like, all right, I gotta stop getting so emotionally invested into something before I do my research.
That's one of the hardest parts about starting a business is the name, right?
Oh my gosh, it is so hard. So the thing about logistics too is that it's international, right? So you have so many logistics companies out there.
Yeah.
I mean, like Australia's got probably a million names out there for their logistics. So I think about a name, it's taken. And, this is the story. I'm with my girlfriend at a bar. And, so we were talking about us having to come up with this name.
Yeah.
And, Samantha brings up that, Nike was like a Greek god. And maybe not a Greek god, but he was a god, and he was the god of winning.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But Nike's huge. So then she starts talking about, maybe we can use another god's name. Let's look into those. So her and I we started looking at names, and I see like Athena, Atlas. I'm like, oh, these names are amazing.
Yeah.
This is so good.
Yeah.
And of course, those are taken. Like 10 different companies. You got like Athena Trucking, Athena Transport, Athena Logistics. It's like nonstop. So then she stumbles upon Loki. And, Loki is like, the god of mischief. He's like the disruptor, the trickster god, the troubled child in the family. And, for me, like that fit my personality really well.
Yeah, I was just gonna, this guy's mischievous over here,
So it fit my personality really well, but then also it was like, we can, I kind of like envision Loki being so sweet and short, right? And I'm thinking like, this can be on shirts, on hats, on everything, and it kind of flows really well, and then it fits my personality so good, and so Samantha was the one that came up with the name. Of course, I had to make it SEO-centric, added 3PL right behind it, and, it kind of all blended really well, right? So it was like, the trickster god, so the trick, the smarter logistics, the disruptor in logistics, right? So I'm always coming into teams and places, and I'm like just being a disruptor, one way or another, right? And, hopefully most of the time it's beneficial to everybody.
Yeah.
So I really want to, be something unique in logistics. And, it's slowly going to be transforming through Loki.
Yeah.
So that's how the name came about. I trademarked it right away. Made sure that I protected that.
Gotta
name.
grab that, yeah.
So Loki3PL.com is live.
Yeah.
Look at the website, and I got a great team. I have some talent out of India, and they're just so wonderful. And you were someone that brought up outsourcing talent, and outsourcing is so hot. You have people that are just so incredibly talented.
Yeah,
in
all over
these
the world.
different
Yeah.
And they got everything that you can ask for. I mean, forget like the language proficiency and the education. It's just like the work ethic. It's just incredible. They're great to work with, I couldn't be more appreciative of my team in India, and then the team that I'm forming here locally in the U.S. So it's already building fast. Warehouse manager, associates. So now, we just onboarded 2 new clients last week.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you. And we're like double-digit clients already. So it's starting to grow, and it's going to continue to grow.
Good.
So slowly but surely, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And so tell us too. I mean, about, because you have a lot of experience in the industry, right? From corporate type roles to then like being involved in a large 3PL as well. So how are you taking kind of that experience that you've gotten from your career and now combining that too with some of your knowledge of like new technologies and things that are out there, and how are you marrying those together to kind of create what you want this company to look like?
Yeah. I think people talk about innovation and technology and continuous improvement, and it's kind of all blended together in like a jambalaya of, there's something really great that I have. This is what it looks like. It could be like robotics, like a robotics arm that's moving, boxes from the truck to this conveyor belt and automatic sortation. You got like these Kiva robotics that now Zebra, Technologies came out with. Reputa, robotics is out there with that, and Onward Robots out there with that, which is all these robots that are, helping with being able to pick more, with a reduced labor cost. And there's just incredible amount of technology out there, right?
Yeah.
You did a survey today, and you asked 2 questions. One was, what are the things that, and I don't know the questions exactly, but I remember the answers because those were my answers too.
Yeah.
And the popular answers, right? The ones that were like number one. And, I might butcher this, but your question was, what is the most important thing when you invest in technology? What is the biggest advantage that you want? And the answer was reduce labor costs.
You're right. Yeah.
Right? And then the other question was, I forgot, it was the number 2 one?
Number 2 was, what's the biggest barrier for innovation?
Yes.
What keeps you from innovating?
That was it.
Yeah.
And then the answer was budget and money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think those are the 2 biggest things that are so important. And I even want to say that if I'm in technology, if I'm in software, that's something that I'm always gonna be focused on too. And it's not always about, thinking about, being in budget or being cost effective and cost efficient, because, in a lot of industries like the food industry and the high commodity industries, the luxurious industries, you focus more on the quality because the product is so expensive, because the value of it is so high, because it's food or pharmaceuticals. I get that.
Yeah.
Those industries already come incorporated with the budget of you needing all this technology to ensure that the commodity is safe, high quality. The Louis Vuitton bag is going to get to the end consumer in perfect shape.
Yeah.
One scratch, this thing loses like $1,000 in value. Forget about like Chanel and all these other crazy, bags out there. There's like, these bags that are so expensive. So I get that. That kind of bag, put it in some kind of really hard infrastructure, hard type of box, and it's probably going to get hand delivered, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be signed off, and and the amount of technology that goes into getting this product to the end consumer. So why I share that is because when I think about any 3PL out there, because I've been a part of so many, and I know so many 3PL owners out there, and I know so many warehouses out there, we all want technology. We want to impress the customer with it. We'd love to show how technologically advanced we are, but it comes down to how expensive is this technology. If it costs $100,000, that's completely fine. If it costs $200,000, that's completely fine. What value does it bring? And it can bring all this other value, but then how long does it take for me to get my ROI? If it takes 2 years, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
If it takes 10, 15, 20 years, that is something that you look at with a different lens. Where it's like, do I need that?
Yeah. And if you're a 3PL, like in 10, 15 years, like your business can change so much,
The
right?
cost is on you.
Yeah.
The brands, the customers aren't going to pay for this technology unless you're in a cost plus model.
Yeah.
If I have a client that wants this technology and they want me to incorporate it, of course I can. We have a plethora of vendors out there. We can incorporate technology, no problem. But then, it all comes down to what the client needs. Now, if the client needs an aggressive amount of KPIs and they need a certain advanced type of technology, I'll look into investing in it. But normally nowadays, clients want their e-commerce package to be delivered the next day, and there's cutoff thresholds, right? If the order comes in before 1 p.m., it will get packed, it will get sent, UPS, FedEx, and it will get delivered to the consumer's doorstep the next day.
Right.
You know this like I know this.
Yeah.
80% of the e-commerce 3PLs out there don't have wildly advanced technology. Yeah, they have a really great WMS system that tracks everything in the warehouse, that lets you know where the items are, gives you a client dashboard that lets you know exactly how many SKUs you have, how many bins you're using, are your bins being maximized, how many pallets you have, and you're either measuring that at the cubic feet measurement, at the square footage measurement. I mean, you got all these different ways of measuring storage at your facility, and the client gets really good exposure. They get the tracking number the same day.
Yeah.
They get the Slack channel that gets to communicate with the consumer and gets to make adjustments because the consumer might have entered an order incorrectly in regards to size or color, or they regret their order and now they're reaching out to the brand. I just ordered this, I don't want it delivered, and they're trying to stop the tracking because then they get a return fee or there's a delivery fee added onto it. So good e-commerce providers out there will have that flexibility for their client where they have so much account management attention. They have somebody that actually answers the phone, somebody that answers them, and they'll fix that order before it goes out on UPS FedEx. But there's thresholds to all this. The UPS FedEx guy comes at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
If it's 4:55, 4:59, and the UPS FedEx guy didn't come, I'm going to make sure that my team and the culture is like, we go above and beyond for our clientele. We're going to bend over backwards. If we can fix that order, we will. We'll have the FedEx guy wait. Let me go change this order to the large shirt, to the blue shirt, because it was entered incorrectly. Let me repack it. Let me get it on that pallet. Good. Client, look, picture here. We did it. We took care of it. Awesome. The client remembers those small things. If I'm a brand owner, that means the world to me. Right? You just put you put yourself in their shoes. So what does it take to do that, to meeting that client expectation today? It doesn't take any crazy advanced technology. I don't need robotic arms.
Yeah.
I don't need, robots walking around my warehouse everywhere. It looks really fancy. It looks like, I'm in 2035,
Looks cool,
already. Yeah, I'm in like the modern world. And of course, if I was able to showcase that technology to my clients, I'm sure that it would be like a sticker shock kind of thing. It'd be like, wow, this is awesome, so advanced. But it comes down to, I don't need that technology to meet the customer promise.
Yeah.
I don't need that advanced technology. I'm gonna, it's more important to just, what does the client need? What are their KPIs? What do I have to hit? What do I have to, what targets do I have to make sure that I nail? And then it's like, can I commit or not? And then, a tight contract. The contract is everything, right? What does the client need? Align on that, create an SOP, put thresholds on everything, shrinkage allowance, damage allowance, compliance allowance, all these different allowances. So the 3PL is able to make mistakes because mistakes happen, but not egregiously. And you expect the 3PL to sustainably put something in place to solve for it and be able to explain it to the client.
Yeah.
Why was this order late? Why did this product not go out the way that it should have? Why did the quantity get messed up? Why was it a different SKU? And then you were able to go back into your process and well, it was this associate, they were on their second week. We looked at the camera and we saw that they picked from the bin underneath. It was a human error mistake.
Right.
We retrained that associate and we realigned everybody in the team with that one error that was made. So we recoached everybody just to make sure everyone's on the same page. And we made sure that that one associate that made that mistake had an audit, somebody that was auditing them and walking around in the buddy system and just made sure that they got, 50, 100 orders the right way before they were able to go into path by themselves again.
Yeah.
That was my contingency plan on what I did to ensure that I didn't, that I did something about it.
Yeah.
Right? Problems are going to occur, but what did I do about it?
Yeah.
So,
just simply saying like, oh, it won't happen again. Like that's not enough, right?
Yes.
You gotta make sure that you're actually correcting that, keeping it from happening again. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there is just such incredible technology out there that's not so, like hardware expensive driven. You got all these incredible apps that measure the dimension of boxes.
Yeah.
You have, Paccurate here that has this incredible technology to ensure that you're not using too much cardboard.
Right.
And you're being sustainable by avoiding a ton of cardboard usage in your e-commerce. We all know we get these boxes full of air, and they're trying to solve that problem. You got incredible technology out there, right? I think about there's all this AI that is so interactive with really like almost taking full control of the customer service element of what a warehouse person does.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you have cameras now on these pack stations that see the entire process of the packer and attack it to a tracking number.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate accountability, right? I mean,
Exactly. So
yeah.
it's just it really just it's impressive to see all the technology out there. So it comes down to like, there was 100, there's like 100 executives here, and they voted those answers.
Yeah.
Right? It was those answers. Like, the biggest barrier is the budget.
Yeah, definitely.
If I had money laying around, I'd probably invested in some cool tech.
Yeah.
And then the other one was they care a lot about lowering their labor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So yeah, I think technology is great, but I don't know if it's needed all the time. The way that it's sold.
Yeah.
So aggressively. Like, if you're not technologically driven, you're not a great.
You're behind. Yeah.
3PL, you're behind the ball. You're behind this, and it's like, well, it's kind of working out. Everyone's doing it, and they're doing a great job. And what are we delivering? Like 1 billion packages of e-commerce a month or something? Like,
Yeah.
Obviously, the big players are doing that, and they do a lot of tech. But I'm interested in how many 3PLs are doing the more manual approach, and they're doing a great job. There's got to be a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think the percentage of that is? Of
Oh,
all the
yeah, I
e-commerce
think-
3PLs out there, how many are how many have this advanced technology compared to how many don't? What would you think the percentage? And
It's
obviously
probably
this is
yeah, it's probably low. I mean, I would say it's if you think about the number of 3PLs that are out there, maybe it's like 20%.
that are using the tech.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 80% are,
Yeah.
and it's getting done really well.
Yeah, it's still happening,
We're talking
right?
3PLs that are doing it manually, that are in 50,000 square foot of space, and they're doing 100,000 orders a month.
Yeah.
That's aggressive numbers.
Yeah.
That's like 10. That's like 20 pallets a day of all e-commerce products going UPS, going FedEx.
Yeah. Interesting stuff here, and definitely, really appreciate the insights, and great to hear about the journey too for Loki as well, and we'll be
So
looking
this
forward
guy, This guy sets up this interview, last time slot, and obviously it's not him. I want it to be with Kevin. I always do. But I get the last time slot of this event, which is a networking event. So how many people have we talked to today?
You mean in total? Just
This
total?
is the morning. We started at 7:30 at breakfast.
Yeah. So, there's I think it was about total maybe 80 people here. So,
That's a supply chain point.
So you probably talked to at least half of them today, I can imagine.
It's been nonstop. It's an incredible networking event, right? And from 7:30 at breakfast, you're just talking to so many people, and it's just not stopping. Every 30 minutes, every hour, I've met like 50 people.
There you
we've
go.
just been engaging all day.
Yeah.
And then I get the last time slot, to make this happen. But I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. And we still got more. We got a whole competition.
Yeah.
And we have what is the competition that we have? I mean, it's like this doesn't end until 10 o'clock or something.
Cornhole competition coming up.
Then we're
Yeah.
gonna continue going. So
Yeah. Definitely.
yeah, I'm excited to continue going, and excited to continue to have what we have, man. It's just been wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And if people want to learn more about Loki, what's the best way?
Loki3PL.com, Rodney Galeano on LinkedIn. Email sales at Loki3PL.com. All different ways to reach out to us.
Yeah.
And for me, networking is such a big thing that we have to do in this business. I don't want it's even that we have to do. I think that we both enjoy it. Getting to learn and meet new people and see new personalities out there. It's great for me, right? And we were just talking about, how many people do we meet every single month, every 2 months? And, you get to meet like hundreds of people, thousands of people on LinkedIn. And, LinkedIn Messenger is like 50 to 100 a day, and emails are like 100 plus. It's like so difficult to remember, all this stuff that we have.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful. And, there's the number one thing is how important relationships are, and who you know. Not what you know. That's the truth.
Absolutely. Well, I'm happy to know you, definitely, and we'll put that link to Loki 3PL in the show notes, and also at thenewwarehouse.com. So Rodney, thanks for coming by, man.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Until next time.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video here on our YouTube channel, The New Warehouse Podcast, and I appreciate you tuning in. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video in particular, make sure you like it as well. And if you you want to get this great t-shirt that you see in the video behind me, Warehouses Are Sexy, head to warehousesAreSexy.com and get your own.